Hello, 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 and welcome to another session of It's Okay with Tam Tam. Please remember to like, comment, follow our page on It's Okay with Tam Tam. All those that are on YouTube, you can also follow as well. So today we're going to be talking about being a single mom and dating. Oh, also I forgot. Please share this on your page because you never know who needs to hear this. Might have some valuable information for them. So today we have three guests. Getting ready to add our three guests on. We have Jennifer, Aaron, and Ashley. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for all willing to participate on another episode of It's Okay with Tam Tam. So please, each one introduce yourself. Tell me about who you are, the kids you have, and then we'll get into our session.
Okay, who's going first? I'll go first.
Go ahead, Jennifer.
I'm Jennifer Perry. I am a salon owner, specialize in natural hair. I have three children. Um, my daughter, she'll be 18 next month, and I have twin boys that just turned 12. Very active in sports. Baseball mom number one. And I'm just an all-around entrepreneur.
Yes, she is. Yes, she definitely is. Ashley, tell me about you.
Well, I am a middle school English teacher. I have two kids. My oldest daughter is 15. She'll be 16 next month. And my younger boy is 10. Very, very full of energy. And my oldest is very active in high school and band and fine arts. So we're busy between my students and my kiddos. We're always at something.
Fun. Fun. Moms are always fun because we're always on the go. Aaron, tell me about yourself.
Well, I'm Erin, of course. I am a hairstylist of 18 years now. So I've been doing hair for 18 years. I specialize in braids. I have two children, a 10-year-old daughter and a 8-year-old son.
Got it, got it. And so those that don't know me, probably do know me, the people that watch regularly. So I have, although I'm not a single mom, I am very experienced at being a single mom. I have been single mom most of my oldest daughter's life, who is 17 years old.
Mhm.
And I also have a 7-month-old, and my husband has a 24-year-old. So all the kids are very spaced out. And I'm going to have a show titled, What the Heck Was I Doing? What was I thinking about? To be starting all over. So anyway, right now I'm a stay-at-home mom. I am a licensed occupational therapist. So I have worked with not children. I've worked with adults with stroke and shoulders and all kind of stuff. But I have chosen to kind of stay home with my daughter and trying to take advantage of that opportunity that I have. So, ladies, let's get into the dating.
Ooh.
First off, how long have you guys like been single?
Not long, actually.
Yeah.
We were separated for a while, but my divorce was final this past summer, so
Mm.
not long at all.
So how long were you separated?
About 2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Yeah.
2 years of single mom, because you pretty much was practicing at that point as a single mom. Got it.
Well, and I was used to it. My ex-husband was in the military and he was gone a lot, so it wasn't really. It hasn't really been anything new.
Got it.
So
Yeah,
And
I get that.
Jennifer has experience. I think her ex-husband is ex-military as well.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I get it. Because that was something else.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
How long have you
4
been?
deployments?
You said what?
4 deployments.
Ooh.
See, and the crazy thing is I got married right after high school. I was 18, 17 when I had my daughter, 18 getting married. Graduated high school in 2005. So when he went off to the military, it was, when the war, he went
Yes.
straight to Egypt and then he did a tour in Iraq. So
Yeah.
we had a lot of odds against us already, being teen parents, getting married at an early age, and then going straight off to war. That was tough anyway. So the marriage only lasted 4 years, but I learned a lot. A whole lot.
How long have you been single?
So I just got out of a relation. I guess you can call it a relationship. Well, since September. But prior to that, I would have like a few trying to start a relationship, but with this last experience that I just went through, I mean, it really opened my eyes about a lot of different things that I needed to make sure that I work on, because you have to kind of look back, not getting too deep. I'll go into it, then I'll let you guys speak. But if you keep repeating the same cycle, then you got to take a look at yourself and honestly see what you're doing wrong. And that's what I had to do, because I kept dating the same men, a different man, but the same man, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So I had to kind of take a step back and say, hey, we got to stop this. We got to figure out what's going on. So I had to be accountable for what I was doing wrong. And I definitely learned that lesson.
Got it.
I get it now. So.
Erin, how long have you been single?
So let's see. My son is 8. So 7 years.
So
I've
you
been
kinda
single.
ended that relationship at a year old. That's kind of like me.
Yeah. Well, honestly, he was a little bit before a year old. And yeah, it was extremely tough, especially with it being a boy. And he's a very rambunctious, he's a male. My son is a male. And not saying dad is not around, because he is, but definitely not around in the sense of if he was in the home. So that was definitely hard. It still is. Not so much now, but in the beginning, like, I needed a man around him, and I didn't necessarily have that. But yeah, like I said, he was 7, and I've been divorced 5 years, a little over 5 years. I started my locks the day that I got divorced. A whole new journey. A whole new journey.
Yeah, I think I did. When I went through my divorce, I shaved off my hair. My hairdresser, he was like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah, just do it. Just go ahead and do it." And the lady, I remember, she was under the hair dryer, and she's like, "No, don't do it." And I was like, "No, just do it." He's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go down the middle. That way you can't change your mind." So he went down the middle, and I shaved it off. And it was just like a relief.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't really realize how much your hair is an extension of your emotions, what you're going through, what you're releasing. And that change really actually helps the process, I feel. Because I know every time I go through something, I either cut my hair or I do something different, but it definitely helps.
Yep. Most certainly.
So how is it? How do you guys find somebody? Like
We still trying to figure that out.
I was gonna say I don't even know how to. I have no idea how to date. I don't.
So I was married for 16 years, almost 17 years. And the last time that I dated before now, it was 20 years before. So I really had no idea what I was doing. I had no clue.
Yeah.
And I guess shortly after my divorce was final, I got to know a man at work, a fellow teacher. And it was just so bad because I really didn't know what I was doing. It was the first time that I was dating and I had no clue. And this man has been single for a long time. And it was so bad. It was so bad. So then I thought, I'll try the dating apps.
That's horrible.
Bad idea.
So horrible.
Dating apps are bad. Bad idea.
Which one did you try?
So I started with Facebook dating, and that's the only one that I've tried, and I did it for like 72 hours.
What is Facebook dating?
It's
It's
horrible.
an app in Facebook. that you
Really?
can use. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
So
I'm
I
like,
created
I
this
watched these-
profile
This
and went to sleep and woke up to about 150 messages. And I was like, what is going on? How do you even do this? I have no clue. And after 72 hours of that, I was like, yeah, no, this is not for me.
Is
Not
that the
for
only
me.
one you did?
That's it. I'm not doing it anymore.
Have,
I'm not doing it.
have any of you guys tried the dating apps?
Oh yeah. I know my last experience was my client, because I'm a horrible dater. I just get anxiety or something. And my client, I was like, girl, what am I supposed to say? She was like, give me the phone. So she
Wait. Which app was it?
Tinder.
Okay.
So hot mess. So she set me up on like 2 dates. And when the guy asked me for my number, I was so nervous. I just deleted the whole app. I couldn't do it. I couldn't go through with it because I was like, oh, he gonna try to reel me in. He gonna try to get me.
She done ghosted the man before they even started.
I couldn't even make it to the number exchange. I'm old school. Meet me, I
did make it to a number exchange with a few guys. And I dated a couple of a few of them. We'll get. I mean, when you ask us about bad dating experiences,
just talk. Just talk. Because we're having a conversation. Just talk.
I really find that there were two types of guys on this app. The one, like I was an option and I was one of many, and he had so many women that it was ridiculous. And the other, like they latched on, and it was message after message after message. I mean, this guy had my number and I woke up one morning and I had 82 messages from him from overnight while my phone was on. Like,
oh my goodness.
Yeah. And so those are the two types of guys that I found on Facebook dating. And that's why I was like, oh, this is not for me. Nope. No, I guess I don't know what I'm doing with dating either, because I can't find a guy that's not a little crazy or actually, wants to date me instead of a whole slew of women. So
so I've tried the Facebook dating, but I never returned anybody's messages.
Oh my goodness.
I am like a professional at like, how like there'll be those memes to where it's like, oh, all these women want dates. Why don't they check their inbox?
Right.
That's you.
Yeah. So,
I never knew Facebook really had like a dating app. Like I'm watching like whatever court TV and they're like, yeah, how did you guys meet? On Facebook. So I'm thinking like it's just some random message or whatever. Somebody tried to friend you or whatever. I didn't know there was an actual dating app. Oh, wow. I actually met my husband online, my second husband. That's fine. I met my second husband online. My first husband, we known each other since we were in the second grade. My first husband, but my second husband, what happened was I had just got out of a crazy relationship, and this lady said, "Go check this app out," which was Plenty of Fish, which I heard was like the worst. Yeah,
I heard that too.
Yeah, and the first thing she said was, "There's gonna be like a bunch of scallywags." That was her words, and she was like, "So, but you gotta like filter them out." I had no clue because I'm one of those women. Like if a man doesn't come up and say, "I like you," "Do you like me?" I have no clue. My friends would tell me like, "This guy is flirting with you," and I'm like, "No, he's not." She's like, "No, he's flirting." I'm like, "No." So I have no clue. But anyway, so she told me to go on this line on that website, and this other lady, she was like basically coaching me, kind of like Jennifer was helping her. She was like, "This is what you got to do. When you see this picture, you're looking for this, and this, because this will tell you a lot. Their pictures tell you everything you need to know." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I learned a lot. And I had one of the guys like Ashley, where he didn't send me a whole bunch of messages, but what he would do, he would send me a message, and if I wouldn't reply, "Why are you not replying?" And then I was like, "I got a job. I got work. Like, I don't have time for this."
Yeah.
Like, are you serious?
Yep.
They want you to be available all the time. And I'm like, look, I work. I have 3 children. I can't meet up with you every day. You know, but I will make time. I will, as busy as I am. If you showing me that you want to, take me out, or, you want to spend some quality time together, I will put some things to aside and rearrange my schedule. But, especially dating men with no children.
They don't get it.
I can't do it.
Have you had any experience with dating with men with no children?
Oh, yes.
I'm actually dating a man with no children right now.
Oh,
so that same man the teacher that I started dating at the very first, we actually have started dating again. And it's so much better now. I learned a lot, but he does not have any kids. He's never been married. He's my age, 42. But he's a teacher, and he's around kids all the time. He knows my kids. And so he's much more understanding of me with children. But he is the only man without children that I have found that gets it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What is your experience with that, Erin?
So I have not dated many men or any men without children, except there's a guy that I'm crushing on right now. And he does not have children. And
how did y'all meet?
So we met, I shared this on my page, y'all. I don't want to.
Oh, did I miss it?
No. So we actually met. I worked. Oh, screw it! I worked at Disney when I was in college, and we met there. So we've been friends for 18, almost 20 years that we've been just friends. Now, he doesn't have any kids, and he's been around my children because he's actually come to visit me twice. And normally if he comes to visit, it's on the weekend that my kids are with their dad. Right. But sometimes like that Monday or so, they come back home and he's still here, and they get along very well. But yeah, so it's been almost 20 years. Yeah, I'm kind of crushing on him, and he does very well with the kids, so that's a plus.
So what is he sending the vibes back that he's crushing on you as well?
Okay, so listen.
So this was really hard for me when I started dating to figure that out.
Yeah, I have no clue.
So we've actually had conversations. This was probably over about 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, to where I felt like he was giving those "I'm crushing on you" vibes, and we hung out a lot. Like we were going on trips. We hung out.
Wait. Y'all going on trips, like out of town trips? Okay. Go
I
ahead.
mean, that's he's my friend. Like, I love him. I really do love him though. But I had him in the friend zone, and I felt that he was kind of crushing on me at the time. And I was like, I didn't want to hurt him. I knew that he had went through some other heartbreaks, and I didn't want to be the woman to hurt him, knowing that I didn't necessarily wasn't feeling him at the time. And I really wasn't feeling him at the time, not because he's not attractive or he's a awesome guy. I was not done playing.
Got it.
And I didn't want to reel him in, and I was reeling in somebody else and somebody, you know what I mean? But I had recently went to go visit, and the very last day that I was there, I was like, you know how okay, so everybody got kids. Transylvania. When she zinged.
Oh.
Like there was something the last day of that trip, and I was like,
okay.
Oh, now what is this feeling? First of all, I'm a G.
This is a perfect episode for me to have
She
tea.
said I'm a G.
I'm a G, so I don't feel
Won't do
that.
that.
I don't get those feelings. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I had to admit, like, ooh, I'm starting to turn a little soft on him.
Yeah, makes you tangle a little bit.
Ooh. Yeah.
So did you tell him?
Okay.
Lord Jesus.
He know now.
Well, no, I told him a few days ago because I could not hold it in any longer. I was like,
No, yeah.
I mean, we talk often. Like every time that we talk, we FaceTime. Like, so, I mean, we talk quite often.
Y'all been friends for forever now. So I mean, y'all have a good solid relationship and a good understanding of who the other person is. So
Yeah.
A great understanding.
yeah.
Which is why I'm like, I'm crushing. Like, I mean, like I say, I remember telling this story to my sister. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to hurt his feelings. I don't want him to start liking me even more. And I'm not to that point. So I had to tell him, like, we're great friends. I love you, but I don't see you in that way, because I didn't want to hurt him. You
You told him that when?
5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was 5 years ago.
So what was his reaction when you told him your feelings have changed?
So I texted him.
Oh, no.
Come on, G.
So I was like,
I've done that too.
I was like,
But this the G. She can't be texting like this. This the G. Like she.
Well, listen, because I was like, I'm a little nervous, Like I say, I'm normally a G. I'm hard for real, but I turned soft.
I know.
So I texted,
And it's hard to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It is.
Not for her. It sounds like not for her. Usually it's not, but for this instance, it is.
It is, especially because of what happened a few years
5
ago.
years ago.
It was hard for me to be like, okay, Aaron, you're going to have to suck it up. You're going to have to swallow every little bit of pride that you may have and be honest. Like, because it is what it is. So I texted him. I was like, so I have a confession. And he's like, well, what's up? I'm like, well, I don't want you to freak out. Like, don't freak out. And I don't want this to change what we have. And if you don't, feel it, then just say it. And I'm cool. Like, I will not act funny, nothing, So he's like, well, what's up? I'm like, I think I'm crushing. So he sends back like these heart eyes. Like, it's
That's
like,
good.
yeah. So, I mean, I think it's a good thing. Like I say, we're close anyway.
And how did you meet him? Oh,
We
Disney.
worked-
Disney. That's right.
Yeah, we worked in Disney together.
Yeah.
We didn't work in the same area, but because they kind of have us like all on an apartment complex, we met, in the neighborhood.
Got it.
But yeah,
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
That's exciting.
I know, right?
Very.
What's even more exciting is that he should be visiting soon.
Oh, okay. So he lives in another state?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Which, that's something that I would love to touch on. How do you guys feel about dating out of state? Like
I did
someone
that.
that is in a different
You
state,
said
like
no,
long
I did that.
distance.
I did
long
that.
distance.
And it was a different situation for me. This is one guy that I did meet on Facebook dating that I gave him my number. I thought he was great. I mean, we went out on a date and it was really sweet. He, took me out to eat, took me to the Arboretum. Like, it was really sweet. And the next day at work, I got flowers. It was just,
Wow.
it was
Okay.
right. I was thinking, wow, this is amazing. And he seemed great until he started, like, just because he lived out of state, he would just show up at my house to visit. But my kids were here, right? And I wasn't really like,
Wait a minute. You guys were dating and he just would show up randomly at your house?
Yeah.
Oh, we
Yeah.
don't do that.
Yeah, we
Just
don't do
to
that
visit.
at all.
I won't answer the door.
No.
Mm-mm.
Well, it was, he like just inserted himself into my life and used the excuse that he lived so far away that he couldn't just show up and then go home right after. So
No.
and then he started wanting to stay at my place when my kids were here. It
Oh
was
no. Oh no.
no.
Block.
Oh, I know.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So that was that. No.
Mm-mm.
Nope. Mm-mm.
That's
Nope.
No.
Yeah.
I
So
don't
we
know. Yeah.
ended that pretty quickly.
Right. As you should.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't
Well,
show up
and
at
he
nobody's
didn't
house.
start out like that. Like, we would meet up, right? And then we would go out. And then I let him pick me up from my apartment for the first time after we were dating for about a month. And then when he knew where I lived, that was it.
So he got comfortable.
He got really comfortable.
Real-
He brought his
real
kids to my
sweet.
house.
Yeah.
Like it was, yeah.
That's a little more than comfortable. That might be several red flags.
True.
Like
Yeah.
Just a few. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no. But no, it's a no for me with long distance. I don't right now in my life, I don't think that's something that I want to explore. I need you local. I do.
Yeah.
Especially when you're like first starting out. Like Aaron, yours is different because you actually y'all have been friends forever.
Mhm.
And it's like, but when you're like just starting out with somebody, like it makes it difficult to actually date, to get that bond.
Right.
Just over the phone. Granted, you want to talk over the phone, but you still want that face-to-face time, especially in the beginning. Like, does he smell? Like, does he, put the toilet seat down, flush your toilet?
Yeah. Especially if it's new.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you want to like,
Mhm.
to see like they'll put lotion on or something. I don't know, but like you want to see like the
Yeah.
so
I've had
Yeah.
a long distance relationship once before. This was pre-kids though. But honestly, for 2 years it worked out.
really.
Mm.
Mhm. Like I was
It's
now-
like so rare for like long distance relationship. Like my friend is probably the only girl, her husband that I know, like they met long distance. She was in school at one college and he was in school in another college, different states. And the whole relationship, they were apart. I mean, like they would meet up and everything, but they had never lived in the same area
Mhm.
until after he proposed to her. Then they moved to they moved to a mutual state and then they got married. I mean, they've been married for a while. So, I mean, it worked, but like, that's like a rare thing for
Mhm.
Right.
that. But
Yeah.
yours worked, Aaron?
Like, I mean, honestly, the issues that we had was just the fact that I was a little more mature than him and what I wanted and what I desired. And we just kind of grew apart, but we're still friends. Like we're still cool. It just wasn't gonna work at that time.
Got it.
And ain't no going back now because he married. But
And you have your crush right now. Who's
And
crushing
I
on
am
you? Y'all
crushing.
crushing on each other.
you know it's funny too. is my daughter and my sister. Every time we FaceTime and they're around, they're like, "Why are you always flirting?" Now, mind you, they've been saying this for over a year, and I'm like, "I'm not flirting with him. I'm just talking to him, you know." And they're like, "No, you're flirting." My daughter is like, "No, mom. Like every time he calls, you're laughing and you're giggling, and I'm like, that's just how we're taught, you know."
Right.
And she's like, "No, mom, you're flirting." And I'm
How
like,
old
"You know
is
what?
she? She's
Maybe
15? She's 15?
she's 10."
Oh, she's 10.
Oh, oh yeah, they be all in the business.
If she's 10 and she's picking up on it, y'all flirting.
Yep.
Like you're flirting. Like every time you talk to him, you're laughing and you smiling and you giggling and you pick up the phone right when he called, because you don't pick up nobody's call. And I'm like, you know what? I need you to stay in your lane, because right now you're in grown people's lane.
You in my business.
Yeah.
Oh, my 15-year-old is always in my business. Now, granted, the guy that I'm dating is one of her band directors. Yeah, and we met on her band trip over the summer. And so she saw it right away, and she was a little weirded out at the beginning, but she really likes him, so that's made it easier. And he's really well known in our district, and so my son knew him too, so that's definitely made it easier with my kids.
I think that was one of the hardest parts for me, just being a single mom, especially not excluding my boys, but especially having a daughter, having men around my daughter, my boys too. So that held me back from seriously really dating. She's about to get ready to leave now. But I've had like a situation where a guy that I was dating made comments and asked questions about my daughter. So it really weirded me out. And I was like, okay, no. No.
Now that you say that, I have looked that up. I was looking up and it was like I don't know how many things that single moms need to think about when they're dating. Because you said it made me think about it. So one is make dating a priority. So like make it part of your life that you need to start dating if you're going to be with somebody. Consider the family that you want to create. So I think I kind of did that with my husband, like what was important. I think that's the biggest thing too, because the relationship before him, I realized what was important, what was not important. And he was not able to give that to me. So I had to let that one go. And then when I met my current husband, I was like, I'm saying in my head, this is what I need. So this is what I'm looking for when I'm dating him. Right. Release the pressure. Don't stress yourself out about it. Talk on the phone first. Trust your gut. That's what made me think about it. Trust your gut. Because if you don't have, and I am guilty. One of the guys that I dated, I did not trust my gut, and it was the wrong decision.
Yes.
And my daughter would not let me forget it either. Be ready to move on. I think as women itself, if we in our heart, we want something to work, we end up staying or trying to stick it out and trying to make it work. We don't have to, which that's a whole nother show that we're going to talk about. Right. Wait to introduce your kids to the potential partner. So we're going to talk about that too. Like when is the right time? Or how do you do that? Be empowered, be cool about dating online, which we know that I think everybody in here is me as well.
We traumatized.
Nope. Yes. Yes.
And release the feelings of guilt and keep a balance, meaning like make sure you date, but make sure that you spend time with kids. I think all of us are like focused on our kids. I think the dating would end up being neglected versus the kids. So I just had to put that in there because you said about to trust your gut. And I think we all have women's intuition. And sometimes we forget to trust that because we want something so bad. But it's great that you did that to protect certainly. So let's talk about the introducing the kids. Because when I said that, I saw kind of everybody's face like kind of. Well, Aaron, you're in like Aaron and Ashley, y'all like in a different spot because it sounded like Ashley, the kids probably Ashley and Aaron, the kids knew them before y'all even thought about even the potential of a relationship with that person.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it was another way, like when do you think, for all three of you, when do you think it's okay to introduce the kids?
Well, here's the thing with that. When you're dating, okay, you want your potential, well, somebody that you are interested in dating and moving forward with, you want them to get along with your children. You want your
Right.
children to be comfortable. You want I know sometimes children can see things that we can't see, and they'll see it first.
Yep.
Mhm.
But at the same time, if you're actively dating and you're dating, this person and that person, and you're just going out to dinner, and everybody ain't got to come around these kids.
Right.
No.
Everybody ain't gonna come around my kids. My
No.
children have seen me with one person that I was kind of dating, but that individual took me down such a deep dark hole. I said, you know what, now, never again. Like, I'm going to make sure that mentally I am in a good space when that potential comes around my children. Because one thing that my daughter has said to me after me and that individual stopped talking and messing around or whatever, and she said, you know what, I really didn't like him. I didn't like how he talked to you.
Yep. Yeah.
And for me, he really didn't talk to me bad. I mean, looking back at it, I know that he didn't, but I think she felt his energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
They can.
I didn't like how he talked to you. And I'm like, if anything, I was the one that was, saying X, Y, and Z to him because of what he did. But
Right.
she picked up on his whole vibe.
Yeah.
So for me, like, I don't bring multiple people around my children. I will not. First of all, I have a daughter. I want her to see that mommy, doesn't have this guy, that guy, this uncle, that uncle, this your Uncle James, this your uncle. Like, we don't do that. That's
Yeah.
not okay. It's not ladylike.
That's a whole nother story too. Like, if you're dating somebody and there's a potential, how do you introduce them to the uncle as the uncle and then turn around later and say that's your dad?
The kids confused. They confused.
My kids know better than that. They know that mommy is dating, and they've really only met the guy from out of state who I was not ready for him to meet my kids, but he kind of forced himself into meeting my kids. And then the guy that I'm currently dating, anybody else, like, I've dated less than a month, maybe a little over a month, and I just didn't know them well enough to be comfortable with them around my kids. And if it's not something that I see potential with, then there's no reason for them to meet my kids.
Exactly.
So
I
don't think there's a timeline on that either, because it really depends on how much time I've spent with them and how well I know them and if I see potential with them. So I don't really put a timeline on it. I think, like you said, we have intuition about these men and the timing. And I think that's kind of what's been my guide and how I'm comfortable with my kids.
Right. I remember dating a guy, and I made dinner, and that was kind of like the introduction for him to meet my children, so they could get a feel before I decided to make it official with him. And it was a disaster.
Oh,
it
no.
was a disaster.
Oh, no.
I mean, I was just like,
what happened? Wait, so they met all three, the boys too?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And Nina. Oh yeah. And her facial expressions will tell you everything you need to know. She does not play. So I cooked dinner, and normally I'll make like homemade tortillas. So I didn't have time to do that. So I just went and bought some from like Taco Cabana, and he complained about the tortillas being too thick. And my daughter was like, she looked, and I know she was like, when he left, she was like, he better be thankful that he even had a seat at our table. He over here complaining about the tortillas. You need to be thankful. So then he had a bag, and it was some liquor in the bag. And my kids know I have a rule: no food in the rooms, no drinks, no food or drinks in the living room, anything like that. Everything stays in the kitchen. Well, he told my son to go get him the bag, and he literally brought out like a bottle of liquor, like I think it was some Crown Royal, and he was drinking it on my couch, like
Out
like
of the bottle? Oh my
the
gosh.
whole
no.
bottle. Not even
No.
pour a little bit in the cup.
In front of the
disguising it.
kids.
In
No.
front. It was a
Wait,
mess.
Wait,
I was
first of
so
all,
embarrassed.
who brings a bottle of liquor to come out of the house? Usually people, like, they're coming to the house for dinner. They might bring a bottle of wine to
No,
have with the dinner.
no.
But
The
who
liquor
brings
was
a
the red
bottle-
flag.
Yeah.
Who brings a
Crown
bottle of liquor?
Royal in the purple bag. Sir,
No.
I need you to go. I need
No.
you to exit.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. It was so
Mm-mm.
ghetto. So I had to apologize to my children because, and he was after that, I didn't bring anyone else around them until this last guy. And the last guy I was with, I've been knowing him for like 20 years, but he just had some other stuff that he needed to get together with his life. And yeah. But he never did anything inappropriate to my kids, around my kids. I feel comfortable with him being around my children. It was just some things in his own personal life he needed to get taken care of, and which, didn't work out. So
when you introduce, so all you guys are dating, I assume you guys aren't introducing them as uncle. You assume.
oh no, that's weird.
No.
Right.
That is
Why is Uncle
creepy.
sleeping in the same
They
bed?
know who their aunts and uncles are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I didn't quite
no.
understand how people did
Mm-mm.
that.
No.
Whatever floats
Mm-mm.
your boat, but
No.
yeah, no.
That's too many questions. But I thought he was mine. But this is your. Oh no.
And I can't keep a
My
straight
kids are
face
not
when I answer
stupid.
them,
They
so.
know who their
Yeah.
uncles and aunts are. Like,
Yeah.
That's
So
old school.
how does it? So all of you guys have dated or dating, either one. How does the parents of the other child feel, or have they commented? Have they interfered? How is that with the other parent when you're dating?
Can I go take a shot first?
Because although you're dating and you're worried about the kids, there's an issue with the parent
Yeah, no.
who can project it on the kids
Mhm.
Yeah.
to cause issues.
so my 15-year-old, almost 16-year-old, long before I actually asked for the official divorce, was begging me to divorce her dad. Yeah.
Usually it's daddy's girls, so they usually like no, they want daddy.
No, she is not at all daddy's girl ever. Never has
wow.
been. No. He's a bit of a narcissist, and she recognizes that, and she's got pretty good intuition. Now my son loves his dad, and I want him to love his dad. I want both of them to have a relationship with him, and we get along well. We do not argue. We never really argued when we were married. We just went two different directions. He was gone all the time. When I started dating the guy out of state, he actually came to one of my daughter's band competitions. And even though her dad had never been to any band competition, never been to any football game, never saw her play, none of that, he found out that this new guy was going to be there. And so he just, I'm going to come too. Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how it goes. Yeah.
Which is weird because we can introduce you. Like I can, like you ain't got to pop up nowhere, especially.
Right. And I had already told him about him and told him that he could meet him whenever he wanted. And he said, no, I don't need to do that. This is your life. But he showed up, and then he asked him to go to the parking lot and talk.
Right.
And it was, she's the love of my life and she always will be, but I won't interfere with you. I just want you to know that if you ever hurt her, I will go to jail for her. That kind of thing.
Oh.
And it was
this is the stalker guy, right?
This is what?
The stalker guy. I'm going to say he's a stalker, the one that showed up at your house.
So this is my ex-husband saying this to the stalker guy. Yes.
Oh, well, that was kind of good though.
Yeah.
Even though like he shouldn't have, but that was kind of good because
no. So we had to have a conversation about boundaries. He does not like that I'm dating. He does not like that my kids like the man that I'm dating right now. He makes a lot of jokes, and he's not happy about it, but he's accepting. He can't really do anything about it, but he doesn't cause problems for me, so that's a good
Yeah.
thing. And he's dating too. I want him to date so that he's not so in my business. So
He's gonna always be in your business though.
no, I know, but he'll have a little bit of a distraction. So
Yeah.
he doesn't like it. He doesn't like it. So I don't think he likes it with my son. With my daughter, he doesn't really care, but with the fact that my son really loves this guy, he doesn't like it. He feels threatened for sure.
Yeah.
I think some of it too is that sometimes these exes don't want to see us thriving, happy, successful, moving on. Like sometimes it's like, okay, I really may want her back, or I do really love her, or whatever. But for the most part, they just don't want to see us thriving without them. Because in some of their heads, it's like, okay, if I leave, she's nothing. She's not going to have anything. She's not going to move forward. She's not going to move on. She's not going to do anything. And then when they see you moving on, being happy, they're like, oh, now it's a problem. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't want to be here. So why does it matter if I'm smiling with the next one?
Right. Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
How about you, Jennifer?
Did you take your shot, Jennifer?
Oh, that's right.
No, I'm good. You know what? Actually, my daughter's dad, he's remarried. They have 2 children. He never really have given me issues, when it comes to me dating someone else. In fact, he encourages it. But it's not that I don't want to date anyone. It was really more so of finding the right man to be around my children, and the type of man that I need and I want in our lives. I have to be very selective. So he doesn't quite understand being a single mom and trying to date is difficult because I don't need a distraction. I'm too busy. I'm trying to get her through high school. I have my boys.
With your 20 jobs. And
yeah,
20
I
jobs.
know. Yeah, he has to jump on board. So he doesn't give me any issues. My twins' dad, he left when I was pregnant with the twins, so he wouldn't know. He wouldn't care anyway. So on that part, we're pretty good. Now, what I would have loved is for him to be with someone that we could get along with, or me and her could get along. That's very important to me. I want, especially being that we have a kid under the age of 18, and even beyond 18, I think that would have been a healthier situation for myself, Nina, and my boys, to have someone that, hey, we had previous history with each other. We were young. The way he treated me may not be the same way he treats you. And I love the growth. Kudos to him. You know what I mean? But making certain comments and things like that, when you don't know what happened in the marriage, has affected that aspect of me wanting to be have a closer relationship with his wife. So at this point, I'm just like, hey, I tried to put it out there on the table, but sometimes some people level of maturity is not there, and I have to protect my energy. So I put it out there on the table. If you didn't want to take that offer, then hey, I got to keep it moving. So,
yep.
Jennifer, you what you just described was that, like, I want to be one big happy Brady Bunch type of thing. Like, so I desire that as well. I feel like if there are multiple families and we have children in common, why can't we all do things together and be happy and support each other and support these children at the same time?
Right.
But what I've learned is a lot of people are not mature enough to do that.
Yes.
Like with me and my ex-husband, me and his family are still pretty cool. Like we all got, children that are cousins. So we still hang out, and, going to family functions and things. I'm like, why do I have to come here and it seems weird?
Right.
Like
Of
we should
course.
be able to dap it up. Like, hey,
Yep.
how you doing? Because I don't want you. You don't want me.
Right.
Why does it have to be weird? Like I
Yeah.
have this, and I've been told that it's very naive of me to feel like we should be able to be one big happy family, but I truly feel like that's how it should be.
Exactly.
Because I don't
go on vacations together. Let's, and that's one of the
Yes.
things. Like when I tell you, I've been trying to do. I'm like, hey, I'm not, because with me, I haven't been able to take my kids like on a trip because I didn't grow up traveling, so it's new to me. I want to take them, but I was always kind of afraid to do that by myself. So he travels a lot with his wife and their children, but I was like, it would have been a great situation where we all could have just went, take all the kids on a trip. We have a mutual respect. I know that, if my kids were left with his wife and with him, my kids will be taken care of. He should know that there are two children. If ever just say they wanted to go somewhere, I wouldn't mind having his two children over to my house, and they know, he knows, she knows that they'll be well taken care of. Like, I'm not that kind of person. So I just feel like what we went through, now I'm really misunderstood because, being a military wife, they don't know how much stress we get put under. It's very stressful being a military wife. So he knew the angry Jennifer because all the things we had endured in a short amount of time. So he hasn't really been able to see the growth, that I'm not angry about a lot of things I want to let go. So us not being able to sit down and have some counseling, family counseling, being able to talk, we missed out on a lot of opportunities. But this is the thing. Tomorrow we can start. For me, it's never too late. Let bygones be bygones. Let's get on the same page. Let's do what we need to do for these children. He and I have a daughter that's about to be 18. I know what it takes to raise boys and girls. Let me help y'all with y'all two kids, and let's correct some things that could be going wrong that I can share from my experience. You know what I mean? Because sometimes what the other women don't understand is that you could be in this same situation. You could be very well in this same situation, and you're gonna be calling me saying, hey Jennifer, can you help me out? Can you tell me, what I can do? He's not doing XYZ. But you remember when I was in the same shoes that you in now, and I needed that same help from you, and you were not there. You did not understand where I was coming from being a mother. You know what I mean? People better be very careful because the shoes can turn. The tables can turn. So, I've always been, even, in my last relationship, I loved his children. When they would come over, I never separated his kids from my kids, So when we broke off the relationship, that really affected me. It's still affecting me to this day. And we broke up in September. You know what I mean? Because having that family is something that I've always desired. And I feel like children need that balance. I want his kids' mothers to know, like, hey, I have your children. I want to meet them because they need to know who their children are around. You know what I mean? What kind of woman do you have around your children? That's very important. What type of man is around your children? That's very important. So not to go in so deep, I'm just very passionate about us. We have to unite. We have to bring everybody together in order for this thing to work, because at the end of the day, it affects the children more than
Absolutely.
anything,
My ex-husband and I, we take the kids out to dinner. He'll come over for dinner. And the problem is he did not know how to be a husband and a father. And that didn't change when we got divorced. Right. The only thing that really did change now that we're divorced is he no longer listens to me. He doesn't find what I'm saying valid. Right. So when I'm trying to cultivate that relationship with our kids and him, because ultimately I especially with our daughter, I know my daughter, and I know her a whole lot better than he does. We're very close. He doesn't want to listen to me, and so she becomes very upset when we're together. He says and does things that upset her and make her cry. Like Sunday we went out to eat and he had her crying before we were leaving. So and then, you know, the guy that I'm dating gets really upset with that and mad at him because he cares about my kids. And so it makes it hard to do things with him when he's not focused on what's best for the kids.
Right.
And so I'm trying, because like I said, I want my kids to have a good relationship with their dad, but there's only so much that I can do. I mean, it has to come from him too. And right now it's not.
I've been in that exact situation with my daughter and her father. Well, I ended up actually moving out of state, and she'll have a conversation on the phone, and then she's like bawling in tears and everything. Yep. And for years, I tried to help them build a relationship, and it wasn't until my husband now, and he's like, you can't force them to have a relationship. That's something they have to do on their own. Yeah. He said, all you do is give him her phone number and let them figure it out. And that was probably one of the hardest things. So we don't do many. He has come and visit, and he has met my husband, and it's very, like you say, Aaron, it's very it's very, you can feel like the tension, and it's very it's not settling. It's not fun and games. It's just odd.
It's very uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yeah. So I understand exactly both of you guys. So we are, because it's almost an hour. So what I want is each one of you, because last time we said 40 minutes over. So we're trying not to do 40 minutes over this time. So if each person can give some advice on being a single mom and dating for someone out there that's trying to figure it out. I'll let you know, I was a single mom and was trying to date, and it's not something you will ever learn. There's nothing, in my opinion, there's no cookie cutter situation. That, oh, if you do this, 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 and this. I think the best thing to do is make sure you do date, figure out what's going to work for you and your kids, because your kids are very important. You got to protect them, because they're very different people in this world. And just like I say, be ready to walk away if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So, and you have to figure out what works for you. So that's kind of my advice. So Jennifer, what do you got?
Ooh. Okay. So initially what I said I need to do, and this is going for anyone else, evaluate. Does he have his own place? Does he have a reliable vehicle? Does he have a steady income coming in? Once we get that foundation set, we can build from there. You know what I mean? Because some of these men, I know that, you know, I let in. I love my heart to death, but sometimes it gets me in trouble because I'm a fixer. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me help you. Let me help you get your life together. But what I realized is that, and we also have to remember this part, if he's pulling too much from you to where it distracts you from your goals, like last year, I didn't get anything done on my list of goals because I was so consumed with helping him get back on his feet and, you know, making sure that he put his children and get them involved in different activities, pushing for that. I forgot about all the things that I was supposed to do that year. So if it takes away from what I need to do, I can't sign up for it. I'm no longer signing up for projects. Ladies, we're not signing up for projects.
Mm-hmm.
The only projects we doing is our kids' science projects, is what I say. Other than that,
I'm not even doing that. They can do that.
I know. So, remembering our worth, because although I had a father, I had a stepfather, I didn't really have a close-knit relationship to where they really taught me my worth. So remembering I am worth all these things that I desire and all these things that I have to give out. And I also got to remember that I have a daughter that's looking at me. I have 2 sons that's looking at the type of men that I'm bringing in the household. And although you may be a nice guy, you may be a great guy, but you're just not the guy for me. So, I have to weigh my options on that. But we remember those check marks of the foundation. And remembering your worth, and is it going to be worth your time?
Got it. Ashley, what about you? What is your advice?
I think really evaluating, like she said, and knowing what you want. When I started dating, I did not know. I just didn't think about what I wanted, out of a relationship, in a man, how I wanted it to work with my kids. And I didn't take the time to really to self-reflect on all of those things before I jumped into dating. And I think that's really important. And like she said, knowing my value, because I think when you are in such a broken relationship, and a lot of us have been in, relationships that have affected us negatively. And you come out of that and jump into dating, and you're not really the partner that you would want someone else to have. So I really had to work on myself and make sure that I could be, the very best partner that I could be for someone else, while also being the very best mother that I could be for my kids at the same time. And until I can do that, I have no business dating anyone. Yeah, so I really had to work on both of those things as well.
Got it. What about you, Erin?
For me, there's 2 things that, as I am going into that dating realm, that stick out for me. One is to follow your gut, your intuition. We are given this gift for a reason. So if there is someone that you don't feel comfortable with, you don't think that they necessarily telling you the truth, you don't think that they being honest, you don't think that they being 100% genuine, you think that something may be wrong with them, trust that. Trust it. Especially like we said, when you are bringing them around your children, around your family, trust your gut.
Right.
The second thing that I have learned, and why I think I'm even able to be crushing right now, is I have started to truly fall in love with myself. You cannot fall in love with anyone else if you have not fallen in love with yourself. So you may be dating, but you're not going to find what you're looking for, because you don't even know what you're looking for, because you ain't found what you need to be found within yourself yet.
Right.
Like, so, truly loving yourself, making sure that you have that confidence, making sure that that you are getting to know you before you want to get to know someone else. Right. Because at the end of the day, if you don't know you, you don't know what you're looking for.
Absolutely.
Very true.
And you're going to damage everybody else along the way trying to figure it out.
Yes.
And yourself and your kids.
Yep.
And
Big mess.
Well, ladies, thank you so much for coming on and sharing. I'm sure there's a lot of single moms out there. I'm sure there's a lot of people that can value this information that we're giving out. So thank you, Jennifer, Erin, Ashley, for sharing your stories. So if you're watching this, please like my page. It's Okay with Tam Tam. Follow us. It's Okay with Tam Tam. We're also on YouTube. You can come on, subscribe to the channel. Share this on your Facebook page, because you never know who needs to hear this. There are plenty of single moms out there. And until next time, see you guys next week.
Have a good night. What?